Welcome to Dream Studios Thought Talks. Talks. Welcome to Dream Studios Thought Talks. Talk on baby, hug around the wine. Talks. Talks. Welcome to Dream Studios by Talks.
Hello, listeners. Welcome back to Dream Studios Pod Talks. We're excited to have you join us for our third episode. Bringing their insights and expertise to the table today are our dynamic hosts, Shan and Lana, ready to guide you through another engaging conversation.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Deep Dive.
Yeah.
Today we're going to do a deep dive into personal development and growth. We'll be covering topics like the science behind habits,
Yes.
how to continuously learn, how to navigate career changes, and even how to improve and maintain our mental well-being.
Yeah.
But first, let's talk about habits. Nearly half of our daily actions are driven by habits.
It's true, and it's something we all struggle with. We know they have such a big impact on our lives, but where do we even begin to try to understand this force?
Right.
Well, a great place to start is by understanding the habit loop.
Okay. The habit loop, I've heard of that. Remind me what that is again.
Yeah, so it's basically a three-part cycle: cue, routine, reward. The cue is the trigger for the habit. The routine is the habit or the behavior itself. And the reward is the positive reinforcement that makes the habit stick. So for example, let's say you want to try to break the habit of constantly checking your phone
Oh, yeah.
during dinner.
I think we all do that.
Yeah, the first step would be to identify the cue. Is it boredom? Is it a lull in the conversation? Once you pinpoint that trigger, you can replace the routine with something healthier.
Yeah, that makes sense. So how about if you want to build good habits?
Yeah, so the key with good habits is to start small and stay consistent. I always think about, that saying, Rome wasn't built in a day.
Right.
A good habit isn't built in a day either. When I was first trying to establish a morning journaling habit, I tried to write pages and pages right off the bat, and it was just too much too soon, and I kept failing.
Right. So what did you do?
I realized I needed to simplify. I started by just writing 3 lines every morning.
Wow.
It felt almost ridiculously easy, but, that consistency was key. As that became automatic, I could gradually increase the amount that I wrote.
Yeah, that's a great example. Just how small steps can lead to big changes. It highlights that it's okay to start small. Now, while we're on the topic of self-improvement, let's switch to talking about lifelong learning.
I love that.
Yeah, it's about nurturing that drive to always be exploring and expanding our knowledge. But in our busy lives, how do we find the time and energy for continuous learning?
Well, one highly effective technique is called spaced repetition.
Okay.
And this is where you revisit information at increasingly longer intervals. So, think about cramming for an exam. You might pass the exam, but you'll likely forget most of the information. Spaced repetition is a much better way to learn for the long term.
It's like building muscle memory, but for your brain.
Exactly.
I can see how that would be really useful for something like learning a new language or a complex subject.
Exactly. There are also apps to help you with this. One's called Anki, and it kind of takes the guesswork out of when to schedule those reviews. But beyond just memorizing facts, it's important to actively engage with what we're learning.
Yeah. That reminds me of when I was learning to play guitar. I would spend hours and hours. It was only when I actually started practicing, making mistakes, and figuring things out that I truly started to learn.
That's a perfect example of active learning.
Okay.
That's about applying knowledge,
Got it.
teaching it to someone else, or even just discussing it. It makes learning stick so much better. But one of the most important things is to choose topics that genuinely excite you.
Absolutely. It shouldn't feel like a chore. Learning should be an adventure. Speaking of journeys, let's talk about career transitions. That desire to have a change, a new direction. It's something I think we all ponder at some point.
Absolutely. It's natural for our interests to change over time. Career transitions don't have to be seen as failures. They can be seen as opportunities for growth, but they can feel daunting. It's like you're stepping off of a familiar path and going into completely uncharted territory.
Right. And I think you yourself have been through a pretty big career transition. I mean,
Right.
you went from the world of finance to the world of media. That's a huge change.
It was definitely a leap of faith.
So what was that like for you? What was that experience like?
I spent years in finance, and while it provided stability, I found myself yearning for something more creative and more fulfilling.
Right. And did you have any doubts or fears during that transition?
Of course. The biggest one was the fear of the unknown.
Sure.
You know, leaving behind a secure career path to go and do something completely different, it was intimidating. But I realized that the skills that I developed in finance, things like analytical thinking, problem solving, and communication, were all valuable in the media industry.
Yeah, that's a great point. It's so easy to underestimate the skills that we've already acquired.
Yeah.
So identifying and leveraging those transferable skills, I think that can be a game changer during a career transition. What else helped you navigate that change?
I'd say networking was crucial. I reached out to people in the industry, attended events, joined online communities, building those relationships with people that had already walked the path I wanted to take. It was incredibly helpful.
Yeah.
And don't underestimate the power of mentors. Finding someone who's been there and done that to provide guidance can be so valuable.
It's like having a compass to navigate that uncharted territory.
Yeah.
What advice would you give to someone who's feeling overwhelmed at the prospect of a major career change?
Start small. You don't have to make an all or nothing leap. Test the waters by taking online courses, by volunteering, or even just starting a side hustle. It's a great way to gain experience and ease into the transition.
Love it. It's about taking manageable steps and building momentum. Now, before we move on to the next part of our deep dive,
Yeah.
I want to touch upon something that's absolutely essential for overall well-being, and that's mental health. And it's easy to neglect it in today's world. So what are your thoughts?
It's so true. Prioritizing mental health is not a luxury, it's a necessity. Our mental well-being is just as important as our physical health.
Absolutely. So how can we support our mental health amidst, the hustle and bustle of daily life?
Well, mindfulness has been a game changer for me. Even just a few minutes of meditation or deep breathing can help to calm the mind and bring a sense of grounding.
Yeah, I've been exploring mindfulness as well, and it's amazing how much it helps to hit the pause button on that constant stream of thoughts and worries.
Exactly. It's about being present in the moment.
Right, and it's not the only tool. What else helps you stay balanced?
Exercise is my go-to stress reliever.
Good.
I find that a good workout can help to clear my head, boost my mood, and just leave me feeling energized. And of course, don't underestimate the power of a good night's sleep. It's essential for both our physical and our mental health.
It is. It's like hitting the reset button for
Exactly.
your mind and your body.
Yeah.
I have to admit, though, sleep is something I personally struggle with sometimes. We live in a culture that glorifies busyness and productivity,
Yeah.
and sleep is often the first thing to get sacrificed.
It's a common trap to fall into. But chronic sleep deprivation can have some serious consequences. Not just for our mood and concentration, but even for our immune system. It's like running a car on fumes. Eventually, you're going to hit a wall. And speaking of seeking support, let's talk about therapy for a moment.
Yeah, that's an important topic. I'm glad you brought that up. Unfortunately, there's still a lot of stigma surrounding mental health and seeking professional help.
Yeah, it's true. People often view therapy as a sign of weakness, but it's actually a sign of strength. It takes courage to acknowledge you need support and to reach out for help.
Absolutely. It's just like seeing a doctor for a physical ailment. There's no shame in taking care of your mental health. It's interesting how we approach mental well-being differently. You rely on mindfulness while I turn to exercise. It just shows there's no one-size-fits-all approach.
Exactly. It's about finding what works for you.
Yeah.
Experiment, try different techniques, whether it's meditation, yoga, spending time in nature, or creative expression. The key is to be proactive and to prioritize your mental health.
Great takeaway. Well, we've covered a lot of ground in this first part of our deep dive. We've explored habits, lifelong learning, career changes, and the importance of mental health. But we're just getting started.
Stay tuned for part 2. Welcome back to our deep dive. I hope you all are ready for part 2.
I am. Where do we go from here?
So we just talked about all these different areas of personal growth like mindfulness and career transitions.
Right.
I think it's time we talk about goal setting. It's a topic that's always touted as a key to success.
It is, but I've heard that a goal without a plan is just a wish.
That's so true. Without a plan, our goals can feel overwhelming and we get discouraged easily. So how do we set effective goals? Have you ever heard of the SMART goals framework?
I have. But walk me through it again. I think a lot of people could benefit from a refresher.
Yeah, sure. So SMART stands for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. So let's say your goal is to be healthier. That's a good starting point, but it's pretty vague, right?
Yeah. I mean, where do you even begin with something like that?
Exactly. So let's make it smart. Instead of be healthier, how about run a 5K in 3 months? That's specific, measurable, and, with proper training, achievable.
Right.
It's also relevant to the bigger goal of being healthier.
I see how breaking it down like that makes it seem less intimidating and more actionable. You've got a timeline to keep you on track.
Exactly. And the relevant part is key too, right?
Right.
You want to make sure your goals align with your values and your passions. If you hate running, a 5K might not be the most motivating goal.
So true. Now, goal setting is great in theory, but what about those times when we have self-doubt? And that creeps in and threatens to sabotage our progress.
Self-doubt is a universal experience. It's that little voice in your head that says you're not good enough, you're going to fail. But you don't have to let it control you.
Easier said than done. How can we quiet that voice and move forward with confidence?
One of the best things you can do is to challenge those negative thoughts. When you start thinking, I can't do this, ask yourself, is that really true? What evidence do I have to support that thought?
Right, like put those negative thoughts on trial.
Yeah.
A lot of times they can't stand up to the scrutiny.
Exactly. Another thing is to reframe them. Instead of, I'm going to make a fool of myself, try saying to yourself, I'm going to give it my best shot and learn from this experience.
Okay, so focus on the opportunity for growth rather than the fear of failure. And, it also helps me to just remind myself of my past successes. It's like a confidence boost, a reminder that I've overcome challenges before.
Exactly. Keep a success journal or a folder where you write down your achievements. It's great to review those and remind yourself of how much you've already accomplished. And, another thing that's important is your support system.
Yeah.
Surround yourself with people who believe in you, encourage you, and uplift you.
It's like having a personal cheer squad.
Yeah.
And speaking of facing challenges, let's talk about resilience. It seems like that's something that's more important now than ever.
Yeah, resilience is the ability to bounce back from setbacks, to adapt to change, and to keep moving forward even when things get tough.
So how do we build up our resilience?
A growth mindset is really important, and that's about believing that your intelligence and your abilities are not fixed, that you can always learn and grow. Instead of seeing setbacks as failures, you view them as opportunities for learning and development.
So when faced with a challenge, someone with a growth mindset might ask themselves, what can I learn from this? Instead of, why am I so bad at this?
Exactly. It's not a roadblock, it's a stepping stone. Strong social connections are important too. Having people you can lean on during those tough times can make a huge difference.
Yeah, it's like a safety net, knowing that there are people you can count on. It can really help.
And of course, self-care.
Oh, yeah.
It's not selfish, it's essential. Make sure you're taking care of yourself physically, emotionally, and mentally.
Right. Like putting on your own oxygen mask first before helping others.
Exactly. Now, I want to talk about something that's key for navigating all these areas of personal growth, and that's emotional intelligence.
Okay. Emotional intelligence. I've definitely heard that term before.
Yeah.
But how would you describe it?
It's the ability to understand and manage emotions. And that includes your own emotions and the emotions of others. It's about being aware of how emotions influence your thoughts and behaviors, and being able to navigate social situations with empathy.
Okay. It's like being emotionally intelligent, being in tune with your own feelings, but also being able to read the room, so to speak.
Exactly. It's a skill that can be developed just like any other skill.
So how do we get better at reading those emotional cues, both in ourselves and in other people? It seems like such a valuable skill.
Start by paying attention to your own emotions. Notice the physical sensations, the thoughts, the urges that come along with different feelings. The more aware you are of your own emotional landscape, the easier it'll be to understand the emotions of others.
It's like developing an internal emotional barometer. And once you can read your own barometer, you can start to recognize similar patterns in other people.
Exactly. And empathy is crucial. Try to put yourself in other people's shoes. Imagine how they might be feeling, why they might be feeling that way. Listen attentively to them, acknowledge their emotions, and respond with compassion.
That's a powerful reminder.
Yeah.
You know, we all get so caught up in our own heads that we forget to really see and hear the people around us. Now, I want to get your thoughts on something that's related to personal development. That's self-improvement. Are they the same thing?
I think they're related, but they're not the same thing.
Okay.
Self-improvement is more about enhancing specific areas of your life. Maybe it's learning a new skill, breaking a bad habit, or becoming more productive. Personal growth is a much broader concept. It includes our physical, mental, emotional, and even spiritual well-being. It's about constantly evolving and living a more meaningful life.
So self-improvement is like achieving specific goals, while personal growth is the journey of becoming the best version of ourselves.
That's a great way to put it.
And neither one is about striving for some elusive idea of perfection. It's about embracing the process, learning, and constantly evolving.
That's a great place to pause for now. We've talked about goals, self-doubt, resilience, emotional intelligence, and even the difference between self-improvement and personal growth.
We have. And in the final part, we'll leave everyone with some actionable takeaways. And we are back for the final part of our deep dive. It feels like we've covered so much.
We have, but it also feels like we've only scratched the surface.
Right. It's a huge topic.
Yeah, personal growth is an ongoing journey. It's not about reaching some perfect endpoint. It's all about just enjoying the process.
It is, but sometimes it feels overwhelming.
Right.
Like, where do you even begin?
I think the important thing to remember is that it's about taking small, consistent steps every single day to become just a little bit better, a little wiser, a little more in tune with ourselves.
Yeah. Like the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. But sometimes even that first step can feel really intimidating.
Yeah. I think it's important to just be curious and experiment. Try new things. Get outside of your comfort zone.
And don't be afraid to fail.
Absolutely. Embrace challenges. Look at them as opportunities to learn.
It reminds me of when I first started learning about mindfulness. I had all these preconceived notions about what it should be like, and I felt like I was failing. And then I realized there's no right or wrong way to do it.
Yeah.
It's all about finding what works for you.
It's all about the process. And, setbacks are inevitable. They're a part of life, but they're also opportunities to learn and grow.
Absolutely. It's about building up that resilience muscle we talked about. Just pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and say, okay, what did I learn from that? How can I do better next time?
Exactly. And don't be afraid to ask for help. Sometimes we all just need someone to listen or offer a different perspective to remind us of our strengths.
It's so true. It's easy to lose sight of the big picture. Having a support network can really help with that. Now let's talk about some practical steps people can take to enhance their personal growth journey. What do you suggest?
Make it a part of your routine. Schedule time for it, even if it's just 30 minutes a day or an hour a week. Use that time for reading, journaling, meditation, anything that nourishes your mind and body.
Like making an appointment with yourself.
Exactly.
What about learning? How can people make that more of a regular part of their lives?
Make learning a habit. Be curious. Explore subjects that you're interested in. Challenge yourself.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be formal learning,
Yeah.
Just strike up conversations with people who have different experiences than you. Travel to new places.
Just be open to new experiences.
Exactly. And don't forget about your physical health. Make sure you're getting enough sleep, eating well, and moving your body.
Right. Healthy body, healthy mind.
Exactly. And don't forget to celebrate your success along the way.
Yeah. It's so easy to just get caught up in always striving for the next goal. We need to acknowledge the progress we've already made.
So true. So as we wrap up this deep dive, what's the one message you would like to leave our listeners with? The power to transform your life is within you. Embrace the journey. Never stop growing. And remember to celebrate every step along the way.
Wonderful. It's been an amazing journey exploring this topic with you.
Me too.
And to all of our listeners, thank you for joining us for this deep dive into personal development and growth.
Remember, the world needs your unique gifts. Keep shining.
And until next time, keep striving for excellence in all areas of your life.